big breaking news. So if you're just arriving now, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the next details of today's big update. We're talking about a big return to training, a big name that will help the Detroit Lions a lot in their fight for the Super Bowl, and even more a big update about Ben Johnson. So stay with me until the end to find out everything that's happening now. Be as well informed as possible. Leave a like, which will help this video reach more people who are fans of the team. And also your subscription here on the channel to see the next last-minute updates. Help the channel reach 1,000 subscribers by 2024. Can I count on your like and your subscription to the channel? Now, let's get to today's news. The Detroit Lions are having a season that mixes great performance and important challenges. Despite being one of the best times in the NFL in 2024, the cast has faced serious problems with injuries. However, good news has recently come to light. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, one of the team captains, has returned to training. The information was released by Colton Pouncey, a reporter dedicated to covering the Lions, who reported that the team has opened a training window for the player. Reeves-Maybin, out since Week 9 due to a neck injury, will have 21 days to be evaluated by the coaches and decide if he is fit to return to the active roster. He is an essential piece on the team's special teams and also offers depth at linebacker. His possible return is a break amid the adversity the group has faced, since other important players remained on injured reserve. The number of absences has been especially heavy on defense, where names such as Aiden Hutchinson and Marcus Davenport, defensive ends, Alim McNeill, defensive tackle, Alex Anzalone and Derek Barnes, linebackers, as well as Carlton Davis, cornerback, are out of action. These absences represent a special impact for a defense that began a season with high expectations. Despite the difficulties, defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn maintains an optimistic outlook. Losing guys like that is always tough. I'm not going to lie and say it's not frustrating, but my perspective is always different. I think about the season those guys were having and I feel frustrated for them because I know how tough it is to be out when you're playing so well, Glenn said in an interview with Sports Illustrated. On offense, the challenges are also notable. David Montgomery, one of the team's top running backs, suffered a medial collateral ligament (MCL) injury and could miss the rest of the season. In the meantime, he's seeking a third medical opinion to determine the severity of his condition. Fortunately, Jahmyr Gibbs has shown great potential in the backfield, taking on more responsibility in Montgomery's absence and being a key player in the experimental production of the half. Despite all these challenges, the Lions remain one of the NFC's top forces. The team is positioned for a possible first-round bye in the playoffs, but the race for the conference lead is tight, with the Philadelphia Eagles and Minnesota Vikings close behind. The goal now is to overcome the adversity, adopt a next-man-up mentality, and ensure that this historic season doesn't lose steam down the stretch. While losses are part of the game, the Lions' resilience and depth are key factors in keeping them competitive. If time can overcome these difficulties and get some key players back, they could remain a strong contender for the NFC title. Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, continues to be one of the most talked about names for a head coaching job in the NFL. In the last 2 off-seasons, he was coveted by several teams, participating in important selection processes, but he chose to remain in Detroit. However, 2025 could mark a turning point in his career. During his weekly press conference, Johnson spoke openly about his development as a candidate for the head coaching position and made it clear that he feels more prepared than ever to take on this challenge after the end of the 2024 season. "Yeah, I would say I'm a lot more prepared than I have been in the last 2 years," Johnson said when asked about the lessons he learned from previous interviews. Despite the pressure from other teams, Johnson emphasized his dedication to the Lions' current moment. The time that they are enjoying a spectacular season with a 12-2 record is the coordinator's top priority. He also praised the stance of the local media, which respected his decision to keep the focus on the team's performance, avoiding speculation during the season. In his comments, Johnson stressed, that previous interviews have helped him mature. Now that I've been through some tough times, had some interviews, I certainly feel more prepared, just from an overall standpoint, he explained. However, his attention is fully focused on the next 3 regular season games and preparing for the playoffs. That's why I'm here. That's why I wanted to be here, he emphasized. Despite his commitment to the Lions, Johnson did let slip a comment that certainly fuels speculation about his future. He calls for every man's desire to test his limits and find out what he's truly capable of. I think there's a burning desire in every man to find out what he's made of, push the limits, and see if he's got what it takes, he said. So, yeah, there's a fire there. When that time comes, I don't know when that would be, but there's certainly a fire there. That statement quickly resonated in other NFL cities, Chicago, New Orleans, and New York, where fans of the Bears, Saints, and Jets have been dismissive of Johnson taking over their teams, now have even more reason to fuel these discussions. With the playoffs on the horizon and an offseason full of expectations, January promises to be a busy month for Ben Johnson and the Lions. The question that remains is, will next season mark the end of Johnson's journey in Detroit, or will he still have work to do with the Lions? Share your opinion here in the comments, and let's contribute to the channel by subscribing and leaving a like to help us continue bringing quality content and the most up-to-date Detroit Lions news. See you in the next update. Until then.